Hello, this is Steve Mills here. Welcome to this video. Thank you ever so much for your interest in attending the results marketing webinar. I'd like to, if I may, just tell you a little bit about it, what we're going to be doing together, and why it could just be the most important thing that you've done this year in terms of marketing. Let me just give you an overview of what I believe is wrong with most small businesses. And bear in mind that 8 out of 10 businesses that start up go bust within the first 5 years. And the vast majority, I don't actually know the number, but the vast majority of those go bust within the first 12 months. That's the most difficult, challenging, hard time that businesses have, is getting started. Why is that? Often it comes down to expertise. Most business owners are experts at what I call operations. So doing the work, whether it's cutting hair, repairing cars, producing a set of accounts, providing advice to people, whatever it is you do, often people are experts at that. What they're not experts at is selling and marketing what they do. Here lies the problem, and that is lack of leads and lack of sales. They are the number one reason together. Ultimately, it's lack of sales, I suppose. But to get sales, obviously, we've got to get leads to start with. And, they're the number one reason why businesses fail. And probably even more than that, are the number one reasons why businesses don't succeed anywhere near to the level that they do. So I've set up this webinar. And what I want to do is to invite you to book that. I want to, persuade you to book. Why? Not because I want you and loads of people on my webinar. Obviously, I do, but that's not my motivation. My motivation always has been to help as many business owners as I can to be more successful. And I've always believed that if I could do that, then I'd be more successful. That's ultimately what I've tried to create. If I can help enough people to make more money, get more sales, get more leads, then that will make me successful. And that's my motivation. That's why I want you to get yourself booked into this event. Let me just tell you a little bit about the event, because this is important. It's not just what I call a normal webinar. A normal webinar perhaps lasts half an hour, and they introduce themselves and tell you how great they are. And then there's like maybe 10, 15 minutes of content. You often hear people in the webinar world saying, give them the what and the why, but leave the how. Don't tell them how, because they've got to pay for the how. And then at the end they pitch you on something where you're going to learn the how to actually do what it is that you're talking about. Well, with this webinar, this is 2.5 hours long, right? This is more like a seminar, really. It's sort of like a half-day seminar, if you will. And what I'm trying to do in that time is to give you some enormous value. I really want to try and help. I want to talk to you about what's new in the world of AI, how you can be using it. I want to talk to you about some of the latest digital content and ideas, but I also want to talk to you about some things that you probably know about, but you're not really maximizing. That's often one of the biggest problems. A lot of people say, well, I've tried this, whatever this is, and it doesn't work. And yet there's somebody doing exactly the same business, and they're getting it to work. Say, for example, Facebook advertising. People say, oh, I've tried Facebook advertising, it doesn't work. And yet there's a company down the road who are making hundreds of thousands of pounds every month from Facebook ads. So what's wrong with this picture? It's not that it doesn't work, it's that that person does not have the level of knowledge in order to get Facebook advertising working. Why? Because they've never done it before. It's the first time. Anybody ever have a problem with the first time you do something, you're not very good at it? I know I do all the time. So, I really beseech and recommend fully, worst case scenario, you're going to waste a couple of hours. Best case scenario, it's going to make a massive difference to your business. I've been doing this for 30 years, as I said. I know I can help you. And the key to your success with this is number one is turning up, because you do get people who book on things, especially when they're free, and then they think, oh well, I'm busy, I'll not turn up. That's a big mistake, because I need you to be there in order to learn. I'm not sending out recordings of this to people who didn't attend, so you need to make sure you stick that in your diary. And and the second thing that you need to do is you need to implement. There's no point turning up and then going, oh, yeah, that was really interesting, and then carrying on doing the same old. You don't get better results by doing the same thing again and again. I think it was Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. Well, we don't want to be doing that. We want to be looking at new ways. We want to be looking at ways of improving what you're doing. And that's it. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Now, in addition to that, I've got a couple of bonuses. I'm going to be talking to you before the webinar so I can find out what marketing you're doing, how you're doing it, what's working, what's not working, so I can help you as much as possible. I'm also at the same time going to book you into a meeting after the webinar so I can answer any questions, I can follow up with you, and I can give you some more great advice. You may say to me something like, well, that session you did on websites was really good, Steve, but I didn't understand X, Y, or Z. Can you explain that more? So it's that type of call. So that's it, I think. So get yourself booked in. If you've got any questions, because you're not sure about it, by all means, give me a call. Go to my website. You can get my details off that. And I look forward to speaking to you. And I look forward to meeting you on Zoom. It's all on Zoom. You don't have to travel anywhere. It'll be just like this with you and I and a group of other people on Zoom, and we'll get the best possible result from being here. Thanks very much for listening.